Guardian Games is 1 week away from being over, and I wanted to walk you through what I think is one of the most important weapons to get before Guardian Games goes away. Obviously, there's a lot of really good weapons this time, and all the weapons that were returning got some really good perk combinations, and I think they're worth going for across the board. However, with 1 week left, if you had to target farm one weapon, in my opinion, it's got to be the Trace Rifle Kara Unios. The reason this one sticks out to me the most obviously has to be the arc, verbs, with all the bolt charge, with all of the jolting feedback it can apply. This is one of those weapons right now that its stock is at its possibly highest it could be. With the artifact being tied to a lot of Trace Rifle stuff as well, this is a Trace Rifle that is going to be just around and useful no matter what you're doing across the board. Now I know what you're saying, but Daniel, I'm already using in my arc builds Cold Heart, I'm already using in my arc builds Delicate Tomb. It's already making my Trace Rifle, not even needed. It's making arc builds really, really good. And while I will argue that while they are really good, they are also exotics. So say for example, you want to use Delicate Tomb with Queenbreaker, can you? I don't think you can. You want to use something else with it? I don't think you can. This will allow you to take advantage of all of your arc builds and your Ionic Sentry / Ionic Traces builds and still be able to have some flexibility with your build, especially if you don't feel like swapping out loadouts and swapping out gear. Another thing to mention is that unlike Delicate Tomb, you can put on a perk called Jolting Feedback with the Trace Rifle, and when you're amplified and making it enhanced, it's going to make it where you generate a whole lot of Ionic Traces, not from kills, but just from damaging a target. Obviously with Delicate Tomb, it requires a kill to start that chain, and in higher tier content, and maybe because of certain content being a further range as far as combat, you might not be able to create as many Ionic Traces as necessary. So when those times come up where you cannot take advantage of Delicate Tomb's constant kills, then you're not going to be able to generate as many Ionic Traces and get as many supers, especially in something like Master Rays and Grandmasters. This is where the Trace Rifle really shines, because obviously you're going to be a bit more farther away from combat. So with that, and having the ability to allow yourself to still have a damage option like right now Queenbreaker, the Trace Rifle is going to be incredibly strong. You'd be surprised how many Ionic Traces you can make just off of just constantly damaging a target with it. And especially if you're a Warlock, you can swap it off of Geomags for some reason, but you can swap it off Geomags and put on something like the big toilet bowl helmet Cenotaph and still use it and generate a lot of Ionic Traces for you. And with Overflow, you could just allow yourself to tag targets constantly and drop heavy and special for you and your fight team. Obviously that is a very, very, very specific use case, but it is one you want to take into consideration. But I think all around, the Trace Rifle is the one you want to go for if you're coming back to the game and you're trying to focus on what weapons from Guardian Games you want to prioritize. Now obviously we want to talk about how you can most efficiently farm it, and to be honest, it's got to be Expert Rushdown. I know what you're saying. Expert Rushdown can be a bit of a struggle with randoms, but you can come to my community and there's a lot of people running Expert Rushdown every day. Can make your life a little bit easier. But if you want to stick with Fireteam Finders and just random matchmaking, even if you aren't the best team, you're going to be able to do runs in about 10 to 15 minutes. And once you get to the end, you're going to be earning anywhere from 2 to 4 drops, depending on how well you and your fire team do. If you're not super comfortable in Expert, simply go to normal, and you're not going to get as many drops per run. But if you can get them in a shorter amount of time efficiently, you can still get 1 or 2 drops every 10 minutes. Want to be really, really specific, you can also go for a role that has double perks in this columns, but at that point you can get triple tap as well as getting Detonator Beam. Now if you've already gotten that weapon, once you do get that weapon and you have some time left, I would highly recommend going after the other weapons as well, preferably getting Hullabaloo with Envious Assassin and Chain Reaction. You could also go for Rolling Storm if you're a Titan. For the Scout Rifle, I would go for just something very simple like Enlightened Action and Explosive Payload. And then obviously for the SMG, the title, you're going to go for Repulsor Brace and Destabilizing Rounds. This is the first season for Guardian Games in almost the entirety of Guardian Games existing that every single weapon is actually pretty strong and pretty beneficial to go after. So make sure in the order I told you to, go after and spend this last week grinding out Expert Rushdown, making sure you grab those title cards and doing as much supremacy and just as much Guardian Games, and just play the game as much as you can to make sure you leave with all 4 weapons having the roles you desire. As always, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.